Hi everyone, welcome to Facebook Live on a Foodie Friday. It's Carol and Lavinia with you on the Brightside, joined by Chef Carl Jaeger, head chef of Little Farms, about to go live on air. And of course, in the meantime, if you've got any questions, punch them in the comment section. We would love to take your questions, anything you want to know about Michelin Star restaurants and chefs, coming up in just a few. One and only here on 1FM 91.3. And yes, this morning on the bright side, the one, the only Chef Carl Jaeger. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you.
He's a rock star in the culinary world, I gotta say. I mean, he's larger than life. He's worked at Pangea, met all sorts of celebrities, cooked for Chris Evans. Who else have you cooked for?
Let's see, Chris Evans. I think once Rihanna.
No
Rihanna
way.
Rihanna,
What did she like?
She's beautiful. That's I got lost. You know. I mean,
What did she eat? What did she eat?
I think I made her a steak.
Nice.
It was a steak. Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're expecting by the end of today, okay, Chef? No, just kidding. All right, so Chef Carl Jaeger, born and raised in New York, worked for culinary giants like Joel Robuchon, Gordon Ramsay, Daniel Bulow, Wolfgang Puck, and so much more. You've been in Singapore for 16 years.
Yes, I have.
And you've been chefing at Michelin Star restaurants.
Yes.
Can you tell us why the Michelin Star is something that's so highly coveted by chefs and restaurants?
It's a standard. It's like the Olympics or like even an Oscar. It kind of validates your cooking, you know. So this is like, it takes it to the maximum point. This is like, just tells you how good you really are, you know, among the world. So it's really, really important to chefs.
Just a quick question here. I mean, you know, we have this list of all these Michelin star restaurants that you've worked for. Did you purposefully seek them out, wanting to work for them?
Well, you know, because I changed my career, I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to work for the best. So I purposely picked out Joel Robuchon. I purposely picked out Daniel Bulow or Wolfgang Puck. It was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. That's a New Yorker in me, you know?
That says a lot about the work attitude and ethic as well. So what sets a Michelin-starred restaurant apart from the others?
I mean, it's the quality of the food, the technique, the details, the taste of the food, the ambiance. There's so many things that they go far and beyond than a regular restaurant. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's just next level.
So when you're paying a certain price tag for the food, you're actually paying for all these things. The experience of the chef, the quality, you know, foods that don't come easily, they're not easily available, foods that take a long time to prepare,
right,
etc.
Yes, you know, as far as quality, they look for the best beef, the best, you know, whether it's Kobe beef or it's an octopus from Spain. It's all about, you know, I get the best quality ingredient. Then I use a technique that, you know, it's not your everyday technique. It's something that's been taught by, say, a French chef. That it might take time. It might take months, you know, even to prepare a certain dish.
I was just looking at a little recipe book that was, or a recipe that was actually sent to me. This chef was trying to inspire everyone to make this dish that his grandma, you know, made. But he's also a Michelin-starred chef himself. And I'm looking at it. It says 6 different kinds of peppers.
I'm sorry?
I thought pepper was just pepper. You know?
Oh, wow. I only thought there was black or white.
Exactly. It was 6 different kinds of peppers to make this one pasta dish.
And his grandma actually used 6 peppers.
And he's probably maybe added to it, taking it to another level. But I think that's the kind of process we're thinking about as well, perhaps. Yeah, not just chilies and peppers.
That is just incredible. I'm mind blown. 6 types of peppers. But can I just ask a quick question, right?
Sure.
It must have been tough to try and get yourself in at those Michelin star restaurants. I mean, can you share with us some of the things you had to do or how long you had to wait just to get yourself there?
Well, you know, when I worked for Joel Robuchon, I was working at the grill in RWS, and I actually had to just keep on knocking on his door. I wrote emails, like even for Gordon Ramsay, I wrote emails for almost 6 months. 6 months, can I work for you when you come here to MBS? And I didn't even get any feedback. And then finally, I think it took almost a year. They finally called me and said, "Yeah, you're going to work for us."
So that's one way to do it. You knock on their door for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I did that, yeah.
What's another way to get your foot in the door of a Michelin-starred restaurant or chef?
You just basically work for free. Yeah,
What?
You work for free, yeah.
Wow.
In New York, like say in New York, you'll just work for free. You don't even get paid. You know, you can work a year without getting paid. They want to see how, because they don't need you. You know what I mean? So, you know, you need them. So they're giving you the skill and they're giving you this excellence. So you better be prepared to, just go all out.
Yeah, so you're kind of like an intern for a year. You got to be ready to just tough it out for an entire year with no salary.
Yeah, I know guys didn't get paid. They would only eat during family meal. I'm serious. Yeah, really.
Wow, that is determination to keep that going. Now, you have worked in a Michelin star restaurant. What exactly goes on behind the scenes when it comes to food preparation?
It's meticulous. Like, I'll give you an example. Arugula, right? Or rocket salad. We only use the smallest, most beautiful pieces of rocket. So all the rest of it, it goes in the bin. You know, so I'm sitting there for maybe a half an hour and I have to pick one by one, you know, these little pieces of rocket salad, or, you know, it's amazing, man. And you have a certain time to get it done. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, just things like that, just the detail that goes into like picking a lobster or a piece of meat. If something is even slightly discolored, they throw it away. Don't use it, yeah.
Very demanding, lots of detail, and you're doing it with a time pressure as well.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to, you know, make sure everything's in place at the right time. And you've also got probably like another head chef barking at you.
Carl, all the time.
All right, we'll find out more about that in just a few moments. Keep it right here. It's The Brightside with Carol Lavinia and joined by Chef Carl Jaeger on a Friday.
Good times. Greatest hits.
The music I like.
1FM.
Okay, hello, Facebook friends.
Hey, what's up?
Chef Carl Jaeger. I think this is the first time that we're going live on Facebook and YouTube with Chef Carl. He's been with us since the very start of the show, I think. It's been over a month, and thank you so much, Carl. And yesterday we were so lucky to enjoy a new dish that he prepared for us over at Serangoon Little Farms, the
Quick.
lamb shakshuka.
Say how it came about. Same how it came about. Carol, I'm so proud
It's
of you.
Carol's dish. Take credit.
No, I mean, we went there for like a breakfast one weekend, and you know, the shakshuka was already so good on its own, and I was just like, I'm craving a little bit of meat. Chef, what about some lamb or beef? And he's like, ding, you know what, that's actually a great idea.
It's a Brightside light that went
Yes, it was a bright
Yeah.
spark dish and moment. And so thank you so much for prepping that for us.
course,
Really
of
appreciate
course.
it. And that just goes to show, you know, the heart that you have, you know, always willing to try something new, always wanting to make sure your customers are happy.
But most importantly, the execution, flawless. Flawless. What I
yeah.
ate yesterday, delicious.
I know, right? All right, so let's take some time to get to know you, Chef Carl. We're getting a little bit, let's take a deep dive into who he is
Okay.
as a person.
3 things about Chef Carl that would
Okay.
surprise us.
Okay, so I lived in Alaska. I used to be a
No.
paratrooper in Alaska. Yeah, 3 years in Alaska.
Wow, okay.
Does this mean you ate like...
What is
Yeah.
what does a paratrooper do, actually?
Okay, we jump out of planes.
Mm-hmm.
We usually have military equipment with us, and yeah.
Do you get to say wee when you jump out of the plane? Or you have to be silent because you're penetrating enemy, you know, lines?
I'll give you like an analogy. So imagine you're driving a car, right? Now roll down the window. Now, right? Take a cigarette and throw it out. That's exactly how it feels.
Oh,
Gosh. Yeah.
Like, but then once the canopy opens, it's just calm and it's beautiful. But the preparation beforehand is like,
What kind of dish would you prepare while jumping out of a plane?
Sorry.
Just kidding.
I'm wondering if you can even eat that dish. That's a good challenge,
challenge,
though.
right, Chef?
yeah, right.
Hey, but while you were in Alaska, did you eat, you know, like, what is it, moose meat? What did they eat? The whale, you know? Is it?
Bear.
Bear!
Yeah, bear jerky, man.
What does bear taste like?
It's really oily. It wasn't really that nice.
You rub
Bear.
some on your face.
Moose burgers. Yeah.
Was this nice?
It's okay. You know, it's an acquired taste.
Sounds tough.
Yeah, tough
Yeah.
on the teeth. Yeah.
Oh gosh, okay. What else do we want to know about Chef Carl? You're a paratrooper, number 2.
Let's see. I was a boxer, so
Ooh.
yeah, I actually fought in Suntec for like this white collar event. There were like 6,000 people. So
Really?
when I took a break from cooking because it was really stressful, I gained a lot of weight. I lost about maybe 40 kg, and I entered myself into a boxing match with this group called Spartans. It was a white collar event, and in front of like 6,000 people in Suntec. So that was pretty.
Any bruising, any cuts?
No, I won. It was
wo-
I won. It was great. Yeah, it was great.
Cool, congratulations.
I think he's trying to warn us, don't mess with me, ladies.
know, right?
Next
I'll
time
be
you want to add a new dish, you better ask nicely. Yeah.
What's the third thing?
The one I'm most proud of. I'm a salsa dancer.
Ooh,
Are you serious?
He's light on his feet in several ways.
Oh, hey,
Get it.
hey. I want to see him dancing in the kitchen. He's probably like, you know, got a cool move, getting from
Sting
one end
like
to
a
the other
butterfly,
end.
hurt like a bee. I said, move like a butterfly. Move like
That's
a
it.
butterfly.
Yeah.
And when I'm cooking, you know, I'm always DJing at the same time, you know. So if you're lucky enough, you can see me. And I'm like, you know, I'm moving around. I'm doing my thing.
Okay, so I can see the influence of the salsa music, you know, the dancing, the movement right now in your Little Farm's kitchen because you control the playlist, right? So there's a lot of music, there's a lot of movement. But what about the experiences as a boxer or paratrooper? How has that kind of like, you know, weaved its way into your attitude towards cooking?
Okay, as a boxer, you just need mental toughness, right? Because it's just you and the other person in the ring. Same thing with cooking. You know, you have to have this mental toughness. You have to, especially working in a Michelin Star restaurant, you know, for these chefs, I mean, they're mentally going to break you down. In fact, my chef used to tell me, get ready because I'm going to mentally punch you today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Why do I have to mentally punch you in order for you to do something? But then again, it's also like the army. They break you down because I don't want everybody to be like, oh, wow, they break you down and then they bring you back up. So when you do something positive and they see that you're finally, you know, able to complete the dish, you feel like, you know, you feel
It's
like
euphoric.
Rocky. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Rocky.
It sounds
yeah.
like an HR problem to me, actually.
I'm going to get in trouble with all the chefs now.
But I mean, we've seen things like Gordon Ramsay. It's a very hot, I mean, the kitchen is a very hot place. Is that true? All chefs are hot-headed?
Yes, at times, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess myself also. But like, I'll give you an example. So when we first opened the restaurant, right, I was like that because, you know, sometimes you have to be extreme in order to get things done. But now I have the kids at a certain spot where they're all doing, you know, it's like a symphony. And I'm just really, really proud. But yeah, sometimes, you know, I get a little angry or, you know, it's just that I want the best for the customer, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm putting that passion in, I'm putting the excellence in, I want you to have the same you know, energy. And if you don't, then I don't want you working for me. You know, so it's like really the customer. It's really about, you know, putting a happy face and a smile on you. You know.
Yeah, it's about the best of the best, right? So you want the best service, you want the best quality, you want the best attitude for your customers.
But I think it's only fair because he puts that out. I think it's fair that he wants to demand that of his people.
Yeah,
right?
true that.
Even his customers, go ahead. Hey, be excellent.
Okay, so what are 3 things only chefs would say?
Okay. 3 things. 86 this. So 86 means like we're gonna take it off the menu or we don't have it or like say you order the lamb shakshuka, right? Like, oh, it's 86, man. That means, chef, we don't have it anymore.
Right.
Or, you know.
Where does it come from, 86?
To be honest with you, I can't even remember right now. But also 86, I use it in the club business. So say you came, right, and you're in a line. You know, you're queuing up to get into the club. And we bring you inside and we don't like you. We'll just 86 them. And that means we'll just get rid of you.
Ooh,
So
that's
86
cool.
in the
I
club
like
and 86
it.
in the restaurant.
Same,
Yeah.
but slightly different.
Slightly different.
Please don't 86 me. Hey, one day you might be 86ing someone at the restaurant. Woo.
Okay, that's one thing. What's 2 others?
Okay, say behind. Everybody says behind.
Behind.
Behind. Yeah. So what it means is that
Get out of the way.
I have something hot.
Yeah.
You know, homie, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly
Alamak.
or yeah. So if you have something hot and I can't see you, at least you know I'm behind you, right?
I teach you how to be more verbally economic. Okay. Sure.
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 Actually, yeah, you're right.
Behind is
And it comes with
2
that
syllables
tone
too
of
long.
warning, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's got the tone. Sure.
Yeah,
Hot.
yeah.
Sure, it's hot.
Sour. You know.
Yeah, something like that.
Sawa, yeah.
Panas. I think in Malay it's panas.
Yes.
Yeah, I know all different languages. You know.
Okay, 3rd thing.
On the fly. So you guys come, right? And I want to get your food out really quick. I'll like say 2 smash burgers on the fly. That means that whatever is beforehand, this is the more important one. We want to get this dish out fast.
Why would you say that?
Because you might be a VIP or maybe it was a little kid that we forgot to serve. So maybe he forgot his pasta. He's been waiting 30 minutes. The kid's crying. I'm like, give me a bolognese on the fly now.
Is it okay for a customer to go to a chef and say, give me a smash burger on the fly?
Would you be impressed? Like, hey, how did they know that?
Yeah. Like a customer came
I'd
to you.
probably
and said
laugh. I'm like, oh, really? Huh? You talking to me?
86.
that. 1 hour later. Right.
Very, very cool. I love learning all this like, special lingo. One thing though, what are 3 traits all chefs need in order to survive any kitchen?
Like I said, mental toughness, pay attention to detail, and just learn from your mistakes. So if you burn something, try not to burn it the next day. You know, if there's a certain way you can do something faster, try to pick up on these things, and it's in slow increments. You know what I mean? You don't just learn to become a chef. It takes years and years. You got to make mistakes, so you have to be really mentally tough and be able to take some pressure.
I can see myself applying that, outside in my own life.
You have a lot of discipline, though. We're going to continue with the other 2 live on air because we're about to head back to live radio. But Chef, thank you so much. I mean, we're also very curious about, what it actually takes. What kind of attitude you need to survive in a Michelin-starred restaurant working for a Michelin-starred chef. I don't think that experience can be easily found in any other kitchen, right? Or do you think all kitchens are the same? They're all equally demanding?
No. No, not all are created the same. Like with Joel Robuchon, it's just the next level. Like when he comes in, it's like the Navy SEALs or the French Foreign Legion. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the movie The Menu, where all the sous chefs are like lined up like soldiers.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I watched that. It was so good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Actually, I want to hear your opinion on that one in just a bit.
Sure.
Okay. All right. We're headed back live on air. Remember, if you got any questions, drop them over in the comment section. It's 1FM 913.
Here we go.
Which one, number 2?
It's Tonic, and if you could only see here on 1FM, good morning and welcome to the Brightside. You're hanging out with Carol and Lavinia, joined in the studio by Chef Carl Jaeger, the head chef of Little Farms. Welcome back, Chef Carl. All right, so you've worked for Michelin-starred restaurants, you've worked for Michelin-starred chefs. What kind of attitude does it take to work in such a kitchen? What should a person who's wanting to work in such an environment be prepared for?
Like I said, mental toughness. Be prepared to, it's really tough, man. It's really, really tough. Detail oriented, and humility. You're just gonna have to, like I say, keep your mouth shut, keep your eyes open and your ears open. Be able to just kind of take things in.
So you can't put up your hand and go like, Chef, I think you forgot.
Oh my gosh, that seems like, hey, want to go on a suicide mission?
I can see the change in his demeanor right now.
I know. You're taking me back now. You're taking me back.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, those memories
flashbacks.
seem quite vivid for you, actually.
True. It must have been really intense. But did anything in, your life before prepare you for those moments in these Michelin-starred restaurant kitchens?
I think being a New Yorker, working, just that, we push on no matter what. New Yorkers, we think we're tough anyway, right? And I worked in the nightlife scene, and I really came from nothing. You know what I mean? I was in the Army. I got out. I worked in the post office. I had like a million type of jobs. I never really had a skill, but cooking for me, that was the skill. This is something they can't take away from me. Whatever you teach me, it's mine now.
Yeah, wow.
So I was really proud of that. Yeah.
I like that. I got to remember, very inspiring.
All right, so 3 traits all chefs need to survive in the kitchen.
Okay, three traits. I'm going to say, being able to execute, being able to process, a recipe, or being able to execute a recipe. Being able to take pressure. The pressure and the long hours and the heat and cutting yourself and burning yourself. And I think passion. You have to have passion. You have to want to do it. If you're coming to my restaurant and you want to work 8 to 5, guess what? You shouldn't be working in my restaurant. You're going to have to work longer hours. The technique's going to be tougher. It's not going to be an easy peasy kind of day.
How many recipes do you think you would have committed to memory by now? Because we're talking about Michelin-starred chefs, right? I'm like, how many dishes do you actually know by heart?
A lot.
Wow.
But we always still look at the recipes are your guide, right? So because you might forget something, so you always look at the recipe and you're like, okay, there's anchovies in this, or there's
so you do refer to a recipe?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay,
yes.
right. Woo.
Of course.
I feel slightly normal now.
Yeah,
of
I know
course.
what you mean.
It's the bio, it's like a reference guide, But a recipe also is just, like I said, it's a reference. Doesn't mean it's spot on. You have to have, cook's intuition, your cook's heart. Like when you're cooking something, right, and you smell it or you see it burning, you're like, wait a minute, it says 5 minutes to, cook this for me, right? But I smell something and it's not good. Use your cook's intuition, the heart.
Yeah.
Because what's going on in the kitchen might be very different from what's in the recipe, right?
Exactly. It's just a guideline. Most recipes in cookbooks are wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. We're going to continue the conversation on Facebook. Join us there, facebook.com/1FM913. We're also on YouTube this morning. If you want to see how passionate Chef Carl gets about his cooking. He's the one banging the table, by the way.
Oh!
Yeah, you must know this. But also the change in his face when we bring him back into his early days of cooking. It sounds like there's a lot that's gone into that. It's not an easy journey for you.
No.
We want to find out more about that in just a bit.
Good music.
To the bright side. I've always wanted to know how many recipes exactly do you know? You say a lot, but Lavinia, how
Are
many
they
do you
in the
know by?
hundreds and the thousands?
Yeah, I know like 2.
No,
Wait,
no,
I
that's
don't-
not true.
I know
Come
one.
on.
I know one.
No.
No, seriously, I get quite forgetful. Because
Uh,
yeah.
Okay,
How many
what's
do
that
you-
one? What is that one
Banana
recipe?
bread.
Oh, but that's a good recipe. to
5
know.
bananas, half cup sugar.
Hey, what about your tiramisu? You do a good tiramisu. I know
Yes,
that.
I can still do that. Okay, two,
Okay,
two. I
two.
have
I heard it's
two.
legendary.
Yes, it is.
Well, we
I've
have to
had
try
outstage
it.
ramen chef before on that before.
Hey, don't like that.
How many do you know, Lavi?
Definitely. Definitely like 50. Because, I mean, I'm
What?
Peranakan.
No.
My uncle
Wow.
teaches me a lot of recipes. My uncle is really a fantastic cook, a Peranakan
Committed
cook.
to memory, can cook all these dishes without having to look at the recipe book. Wow.
Oh, you mean, okay lah, like he said, sometimes you just refer.
Oh.
Yeah, but a lot of it is really, especially in Peranakan cooking, I'm sure, it's a lot of
Yeah.
instinct.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like, on that day, this onion feels a bit off, that kind of thing.
This
feeling.
onion
Feeling
feels
like,
off,
not the
I'm
weight,
sorry.
the weight. Yeah, the weight feels a bit off. I think I need to add some more kind of thing.
So, Chef Carl, how many? More than 50?
Oh, more than 50, yeah. Hundreds.
Wow.
How about thousands? I think in the
Thousands,
thousands.
I don't know.
Do you have a favorite thing that you like to prepare?
I love to cook short rib. I love to cook short rib because it starts off as just a piece of meat. I have to sear it, I have to braise it, I have to add vegetables, cook it down. So it starts off something so simple, but then it develops over like 4 hours, 5 hours, or even overnight. So it's something that's so simple, but yet at the end product, like your lamb shank, right? I could have cooked that with lamb shoulder,
Yeah.
and it would have been okay. But the lamb shank is got collagen in it. It's juicy. The meat flakes off. It's a beautiful dish.
I was curious as to why you didn't go with like mince. Oh, did you see that?
He scoffed. He scoffed
Never.
live.
Crazy. I
What
would
is
never
it?
do that.
Facebook.
Yeah, how special you are to me. You think I'm going to serve you minced meat?
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll deal with lamb mince. I think it's
No.
fine.
Hey, don't mince the mince, you know?
Oh,
Hey.
thank you. I wasn't
course.
aware of
I'm
that.
only gonna give you
Wow.
the best, so-
Only the best. You
No,
see, that's
that's
the
it.
Michelin star brain talking here.
I tasted that love yesterday when we had that lamb shashuka. The lamb shank shashuka. I really tasted the love.
Shakshuka?
Say it 5
bit of a
times.
lamb shank shashuka. Now give me the food. Can I ask you this? Okay,
No,
I
cannot.
have no. No, I mean, you're a chef, and I would feel really stressful wanting to invite you to my house to hang out and cook for you. I wouldn't dare. Honestly, I wouldn't dare. How do you deal with eating the food cooked by non-chefs?
I'll tell you what. To be honest with you,
You
fact
don't
that,
eat?
No, the fact that you're cooking it for me means a lot to me because I know what it feels like when I'm making a dish for, say, somebody, like yourselves, right? So I appreciate that the work and effort. So who am I to tell you that, like, oh, well, you need a little more salt or this is not. I would never do that. Even if I didn't like it, I'd tell you I still love it. Because no, it's a personal thing. It really is. Think about it. You're
so
giving something to
sweet,
somebody,
That's
right?
what my husband did once, I made pancakes with too much salt.
Okay.
I didn't realize the salt was going in, the cover fell off, and yes, he didn't say
goodness.
anything.
That is a similar story. My girlfriend, her then boyfriend, now husband, right? The first time they went out, it's like she said, I'm going to bake you a cake. And then she put salt instead of sugar. The guy just ate up his slice. He was like, yeah, wow.
He's a keeper.
And she didn't realize until like he left and she tasted it. She's like, oh my God, why is this cake salty?
Oh,
That's
they're
why
still
they got
together.
married. They
okay.
are married.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
He's a keeper.
Recipe for success. Cook something really bad and see if that person sticks around.
I should try it with Chef Carl.
Oh my
And I invite him to my house, Chef.
I would love it.
Hey, so earlier on the show, we were talking about this guy who's eaten coconuts every single day for the past 28 years. If you could eat one thing all day, every day, what would it be?
Pizza.
Ah,
I'm not
any
gonna lie.
particular flavor?
Probably pepperoni. New York's got the best pizza in the world. I don't care what anybody says. It's
New
not
York
Italy.
pizza.
New York pizza, baby.
Where
That's
would
it.
you go for New York style pizza here?
Lucali's.
Where
I
that?
love Lucali's. Yeah, Lucali's, yeah.
Where do we find Lucali's?
Kampong Bugis. Yeah, Chef Ariana Flores. She's the best. We work together at Moza, and that's a person that puts her heart and soul into her food. I mean, and that's why we connect. She's like my sister, my little sister. She's the best.
Awesome.
This interview is getting very difficult. My
Why?
stomach is grumbling.
I know, I am getting so
right?
hungry.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
It's, this is intense.
Okay. What do you think gives you most joy in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Most joy, again, one is probably seeing a cook who wasn't that great or a cook that's like nervous and he keeps burning things, and then I see him develop. So I have a guy that I've had for 5 restaurants. He's followed me for 5 restaurants. And when I left John George, he wanted to come with me, and he couldn't even butcher a fish. And he kind of like, he said, "Chef, can I come with you?" And he would butcher the fish. And the guys would make fun of him. But I like the fact that he still went at it. He didn't give up. So I'm like, you know what, Darren, come with me. And he's 5 restaurants, and he's my right hand.
Wow. So he's really like grown, blossomed, and that gives you that great sense of pride. You're like a proud parent, you know, a papa bear watching his little cubs grow up. What is the thing that you dread most doing in the kitchen?
Dread most? Dread most.
It can also be nothing.
Picking rocket leaves.
No, you know what? You know what's probably a dread or I don't like is when the restaurant's empty. You know, it's a Tuesday and you're looking for customers. You have all this beautiful food you want to give it out, and you're like, man, that's sad. For me, that's sad. Like, oh man, I want to touch people and there's nobody here, or maybe it rains, or I don't know.
But you know what? From what I saw yesterday when we were over at Little Farms Bar and Grill in Serangoon Gardens, I don't think you ever have that problem. It was so crowded, so early. People are really enjoying the space itself.
People come
really
and people
nice.
stay.
Yes.
And stay.
Yes.
Stay, right? How many hours straight? We had a good time.
I found it very difficult to walk away from there. Yeah, coffee's great. Food is excellent. And there's always something new to try as well.
And your staff. The staff is amazing.
I want to know how chefs feel when a customer comes up to them and says, can you like hold this, hold that, add this, add that, and they try and tell you how to prepare the dish.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot?
86. He will say 86 this person. Get him out.
I'll do it, but it depends. If it compromises the dish, then I won't do it. You know what I mean? But like I'll try to the customer's always right, but sometimes no, they're not always right. And if it's going to compromise the dish and you want that same feeling when you eat it, but you want me to take out you want a steak, but I don't want the steak. I just want the onions. No, I won't do it.
So you've had to say that before?
Yeah, I've had to. Yeah.
Right. What is something that's really offensive for a customer to say to you? Like you get really triggered.
I think, well, I had it like this at, so and so back in, maybe you should add a little more sugar to your, or I'm like, what, really? Serious?
The audacity.
The audacity. It's just the way they say it. If they say it in a constructive way, it's cool. I had it in Spain, and the octopus was prepared this certain way. Okay, but if they're like, well, the last time I had it at this place, then I'm like, all right, now you're being,
But also in Spain, you get different grade of food, different quality, right?
Yeah.
Spanish octopuses compared to Asian octopuses. I don't know. Maybe we're a bit more bendy here.
Oh, I love cooking octopus, though. Octopus is the best.
Not sure what that meant. But
yes, no, it's true.
we're going live on air to clarify that comment. Yes. Welcome to the Brightside. You're hanging out with Carol and Lavinia. We're about to hit back live on air 1FM 91.3. Hey, send us your questions. We'd love to hear from you this Friday morning. And of course, any cooking questions, any Michelin Star questions, send them over. Okay, 88550 Oh, what's your least favorite dish to cook? That's a question. Hang on, we're coming back live on air. Just a few moments. Here on 1FM 91.3, her pants must be tight.
Or it's me after a cup of coffee,
Just a cup of coffee?
Yeah, cup of coffee.
Okay, it's a little bit of a loony bin on a Friday morning here. Foodie Friday, joined by Chef Carl from Little Farms, Serangoon Gardens. And we're also live on Facebook and YouTube, by the way. Thank you so much for having us on. We did have some questions coming through. Someone actually did ask you, Chef Carl, what's your least favorite dish to prepare?
Pig's trotter.
Why?
Because number one, you see the pig's trotter, right? It's the foot and the shank. You see it's a hairy leg, number one. So I have to burn off the hair off the leg, and it stinks a little bit. It's smelly, right? And just I don't know, pigs walking around, and and I mean it's a beautiful dish at the end, but just for me that's probably one of the. It's kind of gross.
Okay. Is that something you prepare? No, I'm guessing not.
No, I have. I used to have to cook it all the time. So I just remember, you get the foot or the leg or whatever, and then you burn off the hair, and then when you're cooking it, you have to let it like kind of melt, and then you have to tear apart the meat, and it's just kind of it's kind of gross.
But the end result is worth it.
Yes.
I haven't tried it, so coming on weekend to try.
No, not at my place.
All right, so we're talking about the Michelin Starred restaurant and chefing experience. What are some of the processes you've loved working in such an environment, and what have you done away with in your own kitchen?
You have to be more of a coach now. You can't yell. I used to be a real big time yeller. I used to go a little nuts, but now it's you have to coach and coach some more. They're like having kids, like, my own kids. You have to teach and then reteach and keep reteaching until they kind of get it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the process is, as far as working like for somebody like Joel Robuchon, is just seeing like the technique. They're just giving you this information. They're giving you these passed on traditions, and you see how you can make something look so beautiful. You can take a product and it transforms, and it's artwork. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest things for me.
Wow.
That's really interesting. Hey, has it ever gotten so much? It sounds like it's really intense in all these Michelin starred restaurants. Have you ever felt like you wanted to throw in the towel?
Oh yeah, every day.
Till now?
No, not now. No, back then. Back then, I would have to kind of like coach. Like I would talk to myself in the morning. Like when I used to work at Daniel Boulou, before I even got into the restaurant, like 6 o'clock in the morning, I would have to kind of hype myself up. Like, don't quit today. Don't quit. No, they're not gonna. They're not gonna mentally break you down today. You can do it. You can do it. But yeah, there's been times where, just the pressure is immense. You know what I mean? You have somebody on top of you, and you're just learning, right? So it's tough. It's really, you feel almost naked. Like, these guys have these great chefs and you know nothing. And now they're teaching you, but there's a learning curve. And you're going to make some mistakes. So you better, be prepared to make some mistakes and just be mentally tough.
We read some excerpts from your diary, which you shared with us from the time you were at Joel Robuchon.
Yeah,
and, there were a couple of days where you brought to tears.
Yeah. One story is that it got so stressful that, I just left. I walked out of the kitchen and I walked into the chiller. We had a big chiller, and I just started crying. I couldn't stop, and I started punching the wall. I think there's still a dent, probably. No, I'm serious. There's a dent, and so yes, the chef was crazy, but he was really tough. But then he came behind me. He put his hand on my back. He said, "Carl, let it out. Just let it out."
The same guy.
Same guy.
Who was mentally punching you.
Mentally punching. He used to call me Private Pile. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Full Metal Jacket. He'd be like, "Hey, Pile, yeah, your steak is terrible. Oh, so okay, do it again, huh?" So, that's how he talk. And he's larger than life. He's a big guy. He's bigger than me. But, I'm in the chiller. I'm punching the chiller. I'm just crying. I'm like, I'm 40 years old. I'm never going to get this. And then he just put his hand on my back and said, "It's okay. It's okay, Carl. It's okay." And now we're friends. It's funny. We're really, really good friends, 12, 15 years later.
And Joel Robuchon himself has passed, but you said he was the godfather.
Another story with him. So we're getting ready, right, for service, right? We're all running around, and I'm running around. He's an old man, right? He's probably in his late 60s. He grabbed me by my bicep. And the strength he still had in his hand, and he didn't even speak English. He just looked at me and squeezed my bicep and to look at me to say "Calm down." He didn't even say. He just looked at me, and I'm like Yoda.
Wow.
He used the force.
Yeah.
My goodness, what a
and he
presence.
used to pat me on my head all the time. Yeah, he used to pat me on my head.
To say good job?
Yeah, good job. Right? That meant a lot to me.
Yeah. All right. So how is your time in a Michelin-starred restaurant then? What has it taught you after all these years?
It's taught me that, food is a beautiful thing, and to take it to the next level, and to wherever I go, I don't care if I work, wherever I work, is, quality of the product, the technique, the thought that goes into it. So no matter where I work, even in Little Farms, every single dish I put out, I put my heart into it. Every single dish. I don't care if it's eggs or a piece of toast. It's, I want to do it perfectly. I want to give you the best quality product I can.
I think that's the best thing you can hear from a chef, even if it's a piece of toast. There's pride in that, and I really appreciate that. And we really appreciate you joining us here in the studio as well, Chef Carl, sharing with us your wealth of experience, and of course, you can trust that you're going to be in good hands when you see him over at Little Farms in Serangoon Bar and Grill. Awesome food, awesome service. It's the personality of Chef Carl that brings the place to life. We were just chatting with some of your colleagues as well. So thank you once again for joining us on Foodie Friday. Going to continue the conversation off air, so head on over to facebook.com/1FM913 if you want to hear a little bit more, but it's a wrap right now. We're heading into a traffic update for you, then back with music from Supertramp. It's 1FM 91.3. Thanks, Chef Carl.
Thank you.
The Bright Side with Carol and Lavinia.
All right, so we wanted to get into one thing with Chef Carl about the time you got so sick.
That's right. You shared that story with us, but share it with us now. To show just how intense it can be in this role of a chef in a kitchen.
Yeah, so I was working Spago, Wolfgang Puck, and I would go in probably 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And I would stay till about sometimes 1 a.m., right?
What?
Yeah,
6 a.m. to 1
How much sleep
Yeah.
would you get? You know,
I
Would you
wouldn't get any
stay
sleep.
over in the restaurant?
yeah, it makes it easier. At least you get a little bit more sleep. Huh?
Yeah. Oh,
We didn't get sleep, especially
Wow.
the opening. I mean, it's a monster, right? You have fine dining, you have the lounge, you have poolside. It was crazy, but it just got to the point where it was just so much pressure. I wasn't getting any sleep, and I started getting sick. You know, what I mean, I had a tonsillitis, and in a kitchen, you never call in sick. That's like taboo. You never call in sick. So at one point, I felt my throat, and it was closing. So I said to the chef, I'm like, Chef, I think I need to go home. And he's like, oh, Carl, come on, push on, just finish your ordering or whatever. And he doesn't mean anything bad by it. It's just like, it's just our
He
mentality.
needs everyone.
Yeah, we just, you're a big part of, of Wolfgang Puck or Spago, and he means the best. He was a great chef, Greg Best. He's one of the best chefs I've ever worked for. The most hardest, like a Navy SEAL. Anyway, it's closing. Now I'm getting scared. I can't breathe. So I'm like, Chef, I really have to go home. So you can see in his face is, you can see that, my throat is swollen. And he got one of the cooks and he said, take Chef Carl to the hospital. So he gave him like $50. I have to go all the way downstairs from the 57th floor, right? And I'm like, we're not taking a taxi, we're driving. I'm like, if I'm gonna die, it's gonna be in my Audi.
Oh yeah. Oh, so what happened?
So I get to the hospital, and at that point you couldn't take out. It used to be where you can't take out your tonsils if they're infected, but that's changed. He's like son, if you would have came to me like another 1 or 2 days, he's like, it would have been septic. He's like, you could have died.
Whoa.
So I ended up staying in the hospital for almost, I think, 3 weeks, and it was a terrible. I mean, they took out the tonsils, and when you're older, it hurts, man, and it was really a terrible experience. And then I just, this is going to be my life, I had to make a life decision, and I took some time off. My kids never saw me, my wife never saw me, and then I took like 18 months off. I got back into shape. I would drive my kids to school every day in the Woodlands. And that's where I started listening to radio, and the kids, we would, we sing the songs and we would change radio stations. And I got to connect with my kids again, with my wife. I got healthy, I worked out. That's when I boxed afterwards. So it was,
How do you maintain this level of work-life balance these days?
Wow, that's tough. Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's certain, you have to stand tough. You have to, like my son, he plays soccer on Sundays. And if I can catch his game, and I'm taking Sunday off, I have to give it. Now I have to give it to my younger chefs. And they're like, they sent me home. Chef, go home. I'm like, what? But I want to go home, Chef. You need to go see your family. Okay.
All right. So much discipline that goes into becoming an amazing chef, but also in learning how to step back.
Yeah.
You have
I
to,
do
yeah.
have a question about the story you just shared. So you took 18 months off, right? What made you come back? When did you decide it was time for me to come back?
So, I'm cooking at home. It's kind of funny because, my wife, she's a banker, right? So I'm waiting for her to come home. And I'm almost like the housewife now. I'm like, you're late. You didn't even call me. You know how much I prepared this food for you? And dude, don't you even care? I'm like, you know what I mean? And then my kids too. I'm like, hello, the food's hot. Let's go. Come on. I'm
Yeah.
like, but Dad, I want to play Fortnite. I'm like, no, the food's hot. Let's go, And then I just started cooking, and I was like, oh man, I'm getting I'm jonesing for, I want to cook something, and then I went back to John George. Yeah, I went to John George in Dempsey. That's a nice place to work.
Okay. Is it still there?
Yeah.
Okay. We gotta
Dempsey
check that out.
Cookhouse.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to check that out as well. Well, Chef Carl, it's been awesome chatting with you as always. So full of stories, so full of life. And, we're so honored to always call you into the studio and call you friend as well.
Of course, friends.
You are awesome. All right. You know where to find him, Little Farm, Serangoon Gardens. We will be hopefully seeing more of Chef Carl on a video as well, perhaps.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Akan datang.
All right.
Coming soon.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Facebook Live this morning and YouTube. You have a great weekend.
Good time. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3. Good time. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3. Good time. Greatest hits.